Have you ever jumped out of your skin because you thought you saw a spider, but it was just a piece of fluff? Or maybe your heart has pounded in your chest during a scary movie, even though you knew it wasn't real. What's going on in our brains when this happens? Why do we feel fear? And why does it sometimes feel like our brain is completely overreacting? Well, today we are diving deep into the fascinating science of fear. Let's start with the basics. Fear is one of our most ancient and essential emotions. It's a built-in survival mechanism, a superfast response system designed to protect us from danger. Think of it as your body's personal alarm system. When your brain perceives a threat, whether it's a growling dog or a car speeding towards you, it kicks into high gear to keep you safe. The star player in this process is a tiny, almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala acts like a threat detector. It's constantly scanning your environment, everything you see, hear, and feel, looking for potential danger. When it spots something alarming, it sounds the alarm bells, triggering a cascade of reactions throughout your body before you're even consciously aware of what's happening. This is what we call the fight or flight response. So, let's say you're walking in the woods and you see a long, curved shape on the path ahead. In a split second, your amygdala screams, "Snake!" It doesn't wait for confirmation. It immediately sends signals to another part of your brain, the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is like the command center. It flips a switch that tells your adrenal glands to pump out stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This hormonal cocktail is what creates the physical sensations of fear. Your heart starts racing to pump more blood to your muscles. Your breathing becomes faster and shallower to get more oxygen into your system. Your pupils dilate to let in more light so you can see the threat better. Blood is diverted away from things that aren't essential for immediate survival, like digestion, which is why you might feel that butterflies in your stomach sensation. All of these changes happen automatically, preparing your body to either fight the threat or run away from it as fast as you can. This system is incredibly efficient. It's designed for speed, not accuracy. And that's a key point. Your brain would rather make a mistake and have you jump away from a harmless stick than hesitate and get bitten by an actual snake. This is why our brains seem to overreact. It's a survival strategy that has worked for millions of years. Better safe than sorry, right? This process involves two main pathways in the brain. There's the low road, which is the fast, instinctual route. Information from your senses goes straight to the amygdala for a quick and dirty assessment. This is the pathway that makes you jump back from the stick before you even realize that it's not a snake. Then there's the high road, which is a bit slower and more thoughtful. On this path, the sensory information also travels to the cerebral cortex, the thinking part of your brain. The cortex analyzes the information in more detail. It asks questions like, is that really a snake? Is it moving? Does it have scales? Once the cortex processes this, it sends a message back down to the amygdala, either confirming the threat or telling it to stand down. This is the moment you realize, oh, it's just a stick, and you feel your heart rate start to slow down. That feeling of relief is your parasympathetic nervous system taking over, calming your body back to its normal state. The problem is, the amygdala's low road is so fast that the fear response is already in full swing by the time the high road catches up. This explains why we can be scared by things we logically know aren't dangerous, like a character in a horror movie or a virtual reality monster. Your amygdala doesn't distinguish between a real threat and a perceived one. It just reacts. But what about fears that aren't about immediate physical danger? What about the fear of public speaking, or the anxiety you feel before a big exam? These are what we call learned fears. Our brains are incredibly good at making associations. If you have a negative experience, like stumbling over your words during a presentation and feeling embarrassed, your brain can link public speaking with the negative feeling of social rejection. This is where another important part of the brain comes in, the hippocampus. The hippocampus is involved in memory formation. It works with the amygdala to create fear memories. It takes the context of the scary event, where you were, what you were doing, who was there, and stores it. So, the next time you're in a similar situation, like being asked to give another presentation, the hippocampus retrieves that memory, and the amygdala triggers the fear response all over again. This ability to learn from past experiences is useful. It teaches us to avoid things that have harmed us before. But sometimes, this system can become overactive. It can create fears based on a single bad experience, or even by just watching someone else have a bad experience. This is how phobias can develop. A phobia is an intense, irrational fear of a specific object or situation, like spiders, heights, or in closed spaces. The brain's fear circuit has become so sensitive that it triggers a full-blown panic response to something that poses little or no real danger. Modern life also throws a lot of new challenges at our ancient fear circuitry. Our brains evolved to handle short-term, physical threats, like predators. But today, we face chronic, psychological stresses, work deadlines, financial worries, social pressures. These things aren't going to eat us, but our amygdala can still perceive them as threats. This can lead to a state of constant, low-level fight-or-flight activation, which is what we often call chronic stress or anxiety. The continuous release of stress hormones like cortisol can have negative effects on our health over time, affecting everything from our immune system to our sleep patterns. It's like the body's alarm system is stuck in the on position. So, if our brains are hardwired for these overreactions, are we just stuck with them? Not at all. The amazing thing about the brain is its plasticity, its ability to change and adapt. We can actually retrain our fear response. This is the principle behind therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, and exposure therapy. Exposure therapy, for example, involves gradually and safely exposing yourself to the thing you fear. If you have a fear of spiders, you might start by looking at a picture of a spider, then watch a video, then be in the same room as a spider in a sealed container. With each step, your cortex, the thinking brain, is learning that nothing bad is happening. It repeatedly sends signals to the amygdala saying, "See? We are okay. This isn't a threat." Over time, this process can weaken the fearful association and create a new, safe memory. You essentially teaching your high road to have more control over the low road. You're updating your brain software. Mindfulness and breathing exercises can also be incredibly powerful tools. When you feel fear or anxiety, taking slow, deep breaths activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest system. It acts like a manual override, signaling to your brain that the danger has passed and it's safe to calm down. It brings you out of that reactive, amygdala-driven state and allows your more logical prefrontal cortex to come back online. Understanding the science behind why your brain overreacts can be empowering. It shows us that fear is a normal, biological process, not a sign of weakness. It's your brain doing its job, even if it's a bit overzealous sometimes. And by understanding these mechanisms, we can learn to work with our brains, not against them. We can learn to acknowledge the initial fear response, thank our amygdala for trying to protect us, and then use our conscious mind to assess the situation more accurately. So the next time you jump at a shadow or feel your heart race during a tense movie, remember what's happening inside your head. It's your ancient survival system in action, a beautifully complex process that has kept our species safe for millennia. And with a little knowledge and practice, you can become the master of your own fear response. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the brain interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the science of you. See you in the next one.